All right. Hello, hello, everybody. My name is Maggie, and I'm the children's programming coordinator here at City Bookshop. I want to thank all of y'all for being here today, whether you're in person or tuning in to our Zoom. Um, Before we get started, I just wanted to let y'all know about a few upcoming events that we're having. On March 28th, we're going to be hosting Kate Claiborne for her latest novel, The Other Side of Disappearing. On April 25th, we're going to be hosting romance authors Elizabeth Everett, Liana De La Rosa, Amelie Howard, and Diana Quincy for a panel titled The Modern Day Historical Romance Past Defining the Future. And on May 8th, we're going to be hosting Carly Fortune for an in-store styling line for This Summer Will Be Different. We love our romance readers and are really excited to have so many great romance events on our calendar this spring. So we hope that we'll see y'all there. And all of this can be found on all of our social media and on our website. Next, some housekeeping details. If you need a restroom, it's upstairs past the cash registers and the greeting cards. If you're watching from home and are experiencing any technical difficulties, please let us know in the chat. My colleague Kit is monitoring it and we can help. We are going to have time for questions tonight for in-person and virtual attendees. So if you're watching via Zoom, please put those in the Q&A feature so that Kit will see them and can ask on your behalf. And finally, if you need to purchase a copy of the partner plot, we have them available upstairs at the register and they can be purchased prior to the signing line. I have been looking forward to this event for so long. I may or may not have seen the email from Kristina's publicist about doing this event and literally texted our events manager and was like, please, 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 we have to do this. The Neighbor Favor was one of my favorite reads last year, and in the partner plot, Kristina has crushed it once again. Violet and Xavier's story has the perfect balance of sweet and spicy, classic tropes with a fresh twist, and a depth in character and plot that makes this more than your ordinary romance. So, a little bit about the book. When former high school sweethearts Violet Green and Xavier Wright unexpectedly run into each other in Las Vegas, they feel young and restless as they party the night away. And reckless they clearly were when the following morning they wake up beside each other with rings on their fingers. Right? Their impulsive nuptials might be a blessing in disguise, though, when they realize that both of their careers could benefit from the marriage. So they play the part of a blissfully wedded couple. Yet when their passion comes hurling back, they realize their feelings are just as real as they were back when they were teens. But are their lives too different to stick it through, or will they finally get a happy ending? Our conversation partner, USA Today bestselling author Andie J. Christopher, writes sharp, witty, sexy contemporary romance about complex people finding happily ever after. Her work has been featured in NPR, Cosmopolitan, The Washington Post, Entertainment Weekly, and The New York Post. Prickly heroines are her hallmark, and she is the originator of the Stern Brunch Daddy. Andie lives in the nation's capital with a French bulldog, a stockpile of Campari, and way too many books. Kristina Forest is the critically acclaimed author of romance books for both teens and adults. She earned her MFA in creative writing at the New School, and she lives in New Jersey, where she can be often found rearranging her bookshelf. So now, please welcome Kristina and Andie.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me as a conversation partner. I loved this book. It was so special and has like some of my very favorite tropes. And I especially loved how you portrayed their like high school sweetheart relationship. Like it was the best, especially since you've written YA. Like it felt so authentic to the characters and to that time of life and those types of relationships you have when you are a teen. So I really loved that. And then I wanted to start off with the tropes. So marriage of convenience, I would say, is a 401 501 level trope for a contemporary romance. Like it's really hard to like motivate the characters to have a marriage of convenience. So can you talk a little bit about why you wanted to do a marriage of convenience, some of your favorite marriage of convenience stories?
Yes. So I feel like the partner plot was the first book where I started with the trope specifically, and I was like, I want to work this into a story. The neighbor favor came first, but I actually tried to write the partner plot first, or like Violet's story first. And I knew I wanted it to be marriage of convenience, but it was not working. It was like a perfect example of trying to force a plot together.
Mm-hmm.
And so I stopped working on that, and the idea for the neighbor favor came. So I started with Lily, like the youngest sister first. Um, but I just think marriage of convenience is so fun. I read a ton of historical romance. That's how I started my romance journey. And I love the way that historical is done, like how historical romance authors do the marriage of convenience trope.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know. Was asking myself this the other day because I wrote about it like on my Instagram. I was like, why is this my favorite? And I think it's because like you can't get rid of them then, you know?
Right.
It's like you decide to be married. That's a
Mhm.
huge decision to make. And they think that the best thing that they're going to get out of it is like money, or it's usually money.
It's usually money. I mean, as Risa Tisa will tell you, it takes
Oh
paperwork
my
to get
God.
out of
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Like-
Yes. Right. Like money, some sort of like protection. Um, but what ends up being the best thing is that they found each other. And I
Mhm.
think that's like something sweet that, all of the couples end up realizing. And I really wanted to try to work that into a contemporary story. Um, so yeah, and then it's funny when you like do events because you write the book a year ago.
Yeah,
And
it's
it's
done.
like,
They
what did I do? What was I thinking about when I was writing that? But I know for a fact that I was like, I really want to try to take this favorite trope and like make it for a contemporary setting. So my favorites are they're historical.
Oh
So
yeah, we love historicals here.
Devil in Winter
Oh,
by Lisa
that's
Kleypas.
my favorite Lisa Kleypas.
Flowers from the Storm by Laura Kinsella, which I feel like so many people say
Oh
that.
yeah, no,
But it is.
but if you want to like lay in bed and cry, it's either Laura Kinsale or Kennedy Ryan. You have those two choices.
Right. Yeah.
Like
Um, those are definitely my top two. Oh, Destiny's Surrender by Beverly Jenkins. That's also a really good one that I love. So those are probably like my top three, that where like I go back and read scenes from them over and over. Yeah.
yeah, I read Devil in Winter. I've decided to start a tradition of reading all of the Wallflowers at least once a year. Because I was rudely informed that Westcliff is my ideal Lisa Kleypas hero, and I was very confused by that. I literally had to call Sarah McLean, and I was like, I'm having an existential crisis here. And she's like, no, he would be perfect for you because he would be the only one who'd stand up to you. I'm like, I think you're saying that I'm mean. Okay. All right, I'll take it. I'll take it. Another one of my favorite tropes, and I know, and people know probably had guessed this because I've done it twice, is oops, we woke up married. And I've done one where they hadn't actually gotten married. And I did one where they had actually gotten married because I actually needed them to have to do paperwork. And as a lawyer, like paperwork really just and contracts really just play a lot into my romance novels for some reason. So what made you um make the creative choice that you did for Violet?
Paperwork.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Because they're like they're fake married. I think that's on the is that on the back of the book? You find out really early. That's not a spoiler.
no.
Okay. Sometimes I can't remember what is on the back copy or what's not.
Like I believe
Yeah.
it was on
And
the
if
back.
not, I've already said it on social media a lot of times.
All right, yeah.
So it's fine. It was the paperwork. Originally they were gonna be like legitimately married. And then I was like, I don't want to write about that. It was a very selfish reason. But I also wanted them to, because like when they're teenagers, they think about they say that they want to be married, they have this whole life that they plan out together. And I almost wanted them to be confronted with this like farce life. Like this is like this ideal life that you thought that you would have. They're literally playing house. And I wanted it to be a situation where they could easily walk away if they wanted to, but they have to make the conscious decision to choose to stay.
Okay.
Eh, yeah. Yeah. I was
No, that definitely makes sense. That really definitely makes sense. And it like made sense as time went on. I was like, wait, what? when I read it, because I don't know that I read the back before I started reading. I was like, wait, what? They didn't? Oh. And then it got me curious because I was like, can you actually have a pretend wedding in Vegas? Because I would 100% do that.
And you can. That's when I was doing my research about getting married in Vegas, like all the logistics. What time did the chapels close and all this stuff? And it was during that research that I saw that you can have a fake ceremony. And I was like, that's what I'm gonna do.
No,
that just seems like the way I need to go.
Next time I go to Vegas, I'm just gonna hire somebody to marry me, pretend just to troll people. I feel like it'd be so fun.
Yeah, they call it's like you can do like a commitment ceremony is what they call it. But like there's a whole package. Like what I put in the book is real. You can really go to Vegas and do that. So
I mean,
yeah.
I'd be like, I'm committed to tapping that tonight. That's what I'm committed to. That's what I'm committed to. And then you somehow managed to get a third one of my favorite tropes in, which is the second chance romance between high school sweethearts. And I know this one deeply personally because I tried it and it failed. But I still love this trope. So tell me about your relationship with this trope and why you decide and how you decided who Xavier was and what he was going to mean to Violet.
So actually, second chance is a trope that I didn't always gravitate toward. Like when I'm looking for books based on tropes, second chance, I didn't always reach for that one because I think I like the idea of meeting a couple when they're meeting. But I also, on the other hand, really like the history that comes with a second chance romance. And so this is not a spoiler because it's on the back of the book. But Violet starts this book. She's just gotten out of a really bad relationship. She had like a very public breakup with her ex-fiance who was kind of a jerk. He like publicly cheated on her.
Eddie can catch hands.
Yeah, he's horrible. He's like the real villain of the entire series, honestly.
Like it's on site with Eddie. Like
the words, yeah. And so
I'm nonviolent, but
when I was thinking about Violet, I knew that her story was going to be about finding love after a heartbreak. Mm-hmm. And the kind of person that she is, I was kind of thinking like, I don't know how she would open herself back up again in a timely fashion for the time frame that I need the story to take place. And then I was thinking, well, what if she falls in love with someone that she had already been in love with before? So the door is kind of slightly open. And because Eddie is so horrible, I almost wanted it to be like she's like reclaiming that space and that time to say like, yeah, you were the worst, but you actually weren't the love of my life. Like, I was kind of like settling for you. And the love of my life was actually this other person. And so that's where Xavier came in. And I think because in the neighbor favor, Violet, she just came off the page as being like the loud sister who's very opinionated and she kind of has no filter. She's just going to say whatever she thinks. And I had to build Xavier off of her. Well, like, what's he like? I kind of wanted her to have this match who had the same kind of energy and like didn't take any mess from her. And so sort of like was her perfect partner that she met too young and they broke up because, they're in college, they go their separate ways. Life happens. And then I wanted them to be confronted with the question of like, okay, this was the right person, but it was the wrong time before. But is it the right time now? And if it is, are you going to take the chance with each other again, or are you going to be too afraid? And it actually was really cathartic to work through all of their emotions, like to see them from their teenage years to their late 20s. It was like, yeah. And it was almost like after I finished writing that book, I felt kind of emotionally burnt out because I was writing like 4 different characters. Violet as a teenager, Violet in her 20s, Xavier's teenager, Xavier's 20. And so, yeah, it was a lot. But at the end, I was like really, I feel like after writing the partner plot, I felt the most proud of a book when I finished. Especially because I hadn't intended from the beginning for it to be a second chance. It just like sort of turned into that while I was working on it. Yeah.
Well, it's so interesting to see how you like wove in like them learning how to like truly be in a mature adult relationship with someone that they had been in an immature young adult relationship with, and how they were just so, how they really just had to like focus on communication and timing and not, they didn't lie to each other, but like just telling the truth at all times, even when it might hurt the other person. So I thought that was really, really beautiful.
Thank you.
Going back to my question list. Okay. So I mentioned backstage. There's this TikTok going around, and as a famously single person, I somehow ended up on this part of TikTok. And it's this woman who says, like, married people, stitch this and tell me why marriage is hard. And most of the answers I've seen are, well, it's hard when you're married to someone terrible. It's work when you're married to someone good. Sometimes everything outside of the relationship is hard, but the marriage itself is a good part of your life. So what do you think? And one of the characters, and I have a feeling I might know something about your answer based on which character says this, says that marriage is hard. And I don't know that Xavier and Violet would necessarily agree, at least not at the end of the book.
Yeah, I think that they would say that like marriage is a commitment to be intentional, maybe with like how you treat your partner, how you make space for them in your life. Especially because their lives are so different. They have to be very intentional about what they're doing. I think for them, they would think it's easy because they're like best friends.
Yeah.
And
They really
so,
like each other.
yeah, I think that friendship, when you're friends with your partner, I would hope that would
Yeah.
like lead to like, a good union. So I think that they would probably say that it's not hard in that sense.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have seen some of the stitches, but I usually before the person comes on to answer, I keep going because I'm like, I don't know if I want to hear what this person has to say, but I'm always interested to. I like watching that first one when she's like, "If you're married, tell me," and then I'm like, "Okay." I don't know what it is. I'm like,
No,
oh.
I'm really curious about the answer because, like, I don't know. I've never been inside of a marriage. I mean, I've only been inside of the marriages that I make up in my own head, which I don't think those are representative. I don't think they are. So it's always like like the curiosity always is the best of me, but a lot of them are divorced women saying it's hard when you're married to a man who refuses to get a job.
Well, yeah, and I also feel like because I'm not married yet, I'm getting married later this year, and so I think thank you. I think part of me is like, like it's just like a gut reaction, like don't scare me. I don't want to know.
It's like, yeah, no, I mean, I really avoid the girl with the list of things that happen when you're pregnant. Like
I love that list. Every time someone's like in the comments, they're like, get the list. And then she's like, I'm here. And then I click on her page and then she's got a new do y'all know that one? Yes.
well, it solidified my decision to not have children. Seeing that list, I was like, nope, not for me, not for me.
It's so long.
It's
and I
very
still do want to have kids, but I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm in for a wild ride. You just like sort of accept it. Yeah.
I mean, I was like, I don't know if there's a plastic surgery for that. Like,
some of the stuff is really wild.
yeah, it's really wild. So, get off TikTok. We can get serious again. So one of the issues that Xavier and Violet face is that for both of them in different ways, they need to create a work-life balance that facilitates like their sort of highest level of well-being, and especially their well-being within their relationship. And I mean, as this, famously single person who's also a workaholic, I felt like I was being attacked a little bit. So how did you come to the sort of decision you made about how they would come to equilibrium?
Well, I think a lot of that was, like when you're done writing a book and you read it over, I feel like a lot of my subconscious feelings and issues that I was working through at the time end up finding their way in the book. And for several years, I worked full time in publishing and I wrote at night. And that was hard. It's like hard to have essentially two full-time jobs, and, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
you like try to have a social life, and then you try to have hobbies.
Yeah,
What?
no.
No,
I
it's
mean,
like
I just
no,
have dogs, so
right.
that's, you know.
And it's just like it's hard. And I think that I was thinking about that a lot, and like what it's like when you love your job, and so you're going to devote yourself to it because it's your passion, and like you're lucky when you have a job that is your passion. And so, like with Violet, she really loves fashion. This is a job that she's always wanted. She's not going to leave her job, but she's reached the point where she realizes she needs a better life balance because her job is her life. And so she's starting to realize that, like, maybe I do need to get at least 7 hours of sleep sometimes, like she's not at that point in her life. And I think that when I started writing the partner plot, that was the first book that I wrote as a full-time author. And I still don't know how long it's going to last because sometimes I'm like, maybe I should just, again, it's like either one balance is good and one balance is bad. The grass is always greener somewhere
Right.
else. And so when I started writing that book, I had just left my full-time job. And I think I was thinking about that a lot, like how I did not do a good job at balancing my life or not getting too overwhelmed at certain points, like when things were happening. And I think I was just kind of working through that through her. But I wanted her to have a job that she would not leave, because especially I almost spoiled a different book. I wanted her to keep her job. Like I wanted it to be like, she it's not perfect, but she's going to figure out a way to make it work better for her.
I mean, she loved it. She loves it. She has a personal connection to
Yeah.
it. She loves, the vast majority of the people she works with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or the people she still works with.
Mhm.
And like she is genuinely creatively fed by it. Sort of like I imagine you and I are fed by our work, our writing. So I really loved that. Like I felt that I could trust that it wasn't going to be the Hallmark movie ending where she quit her job and moved back to her hometown and, made jam. Nothing wrong with making jam if that's what you want to do, but I didn't think that was for Violet. It's not for me. Um, and then you had like the other Xavier's sort of, I loved his like internal personal journey throughout the book because it's like, I think it like spoke to sort of like there's these like sensationalistic news headlines about this like crisis in masculinity, about how like men are falling behind and like having all sorts of like anxieties about it. And like he had like huge teenage dreams and ended up in a place that he didn't expect. um and so I just want to hear you talk about how you wrote him.
Yeah, I think that because Violet she had this dream, she went and got it. I kind of wanted him to be her foil. And I wanted him to have this big dream that wasn't realized. And he's looking at her like, look at all the things that you've done. And he's like unintentionally comparing himself to her. Like, we both had these dreams. We had this life we thought we were going to live. You went and did it. I didn't. But he's a teacher now. He coaches basketball, and there's a lot of merit and good in what he does, but he doesn't see it that way because he thought he was going to go to the NBA. And so that those are very different lifestyles. And I guess I wanted to write about someone who, because Violet is the big city girl and she's going to stay that way, I wanted to write about somebody who was invested in their hometown and was doing a lot of really good work there and just sort of needed to come to that realization. And I guess I wanted to see if it could work, like the country mouse and the city mouse kind of thing. Like,
Right.
can they coexist and can they figure it out? Obviously it was going to happen because it's a romance novel. Like, I intentionally, yes. But I just wanted to explore that. And I wanted him to have like a different career path than she did.
Yeah. Well, I feel like as long as he can like sort of box out her mom.
Yeah.
Like,
their mom is crazy.
like I was like, this woman, like,
Yeah. I don't know what it is about writing moms, because my mom and I are so chill. We like never have drama, but I feel like in all of my books, I'm always writing these mothers who are like, and she's always like, where, what? I'm like, it's not you. It's not you. So I don't know where it comes from.
I mean,
it's fun. I feel like
when I gave my mom is reading Unrealistic Expectations on my couch right now with my dog, and the mom in that book is terrible. She's a nightmare. It's like she's the worst mom any biracial kid could have, like the worst white mother you can imagine. Drunk on vodka. And I was like, okay, so mom, you know, this woman has nothing to do with you. Like, and she's like, I know that.
Yeah, so you have to give a disclaimer. Like, so the mom in this book is a little, but don't worry about it.
Yeah, exactly. It's nothing like you. I promise. I promise. I promise. So what did you dream of doing when you were a teenager? And how does it compare to what you're doing now?
I had two I had two different dreams. One was to be a writer. I did want to be a writer. The other dream, I wanted to be a choreographer or a backup dancer. And at the time, Justin Timberlake had this special on HBO. Does anyone remember his Future Sex Love Sounds tour? They used to show it on HBO.
I attended.
You did?
That tour while I was in law school, which tells you that I am old. But yes, my friend joined the Justin Timberlake fan club so that we could get good tickets to that. Pink opened. So honestly, no regrets.
It was good.
It was great. She was like coming out of the ceiling.
Oh, you know what? On the HBO thing, they didn't show her.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
there's a reason she was better than him.
Probably. They just showed Justin Timberlake, and I was like, I want to be a backup dancer. I was dead serious too. I used to do ballet. I was like in dance school, like I was going there. And I remember my grandma was like, "Well, are you gonna make any money?" And I was like, "I don't know." And then I was like, "Maybe not." Not that writing also is a guaranteed revenue making career either. But that was one that nobody questioned. So that was my college major.
Yeah. I mean, I either wanted to be a fashion designer or a lawyer, and I ended up being a lawyer. But I also started reading Harlequin romance novels when I was like 10 years old, and I started writing my first one when I was like 12. So I think the writing thing was going to happen anyway. And I really did love the juxtaposition between Violet getting to live all her dreams and realizing that they are not necessarily all there. It's not all there is. And Xavier finding like a new dream and like new fulfillment in something that's like really important. And I love the way his job showed how much he matured throughout the book. I really was just very enamored of both of them. And now I'm gonna have to ask the love lyric. I am so excited. What can we expect and what can you tell us?
Hold on, wait. I'm trying to think what's not a spoiler. Well, okay, so it's about Iris. That's Lily's oldest sister. I feel like, what will people like? What will my editor be like? No, don't say that. But I don't think she would. So Iris, well, she is a single mom. She's a widow, and she has a 5-year-old daughter. Well, it's a little bit of a jump in the future. Like it takes place like a year after the partner plot ends. So her daughter is a little bit older than she is in this book. And it's about her being her love interest is he's like a famous singer.
Well, there was an excerpt in the back.
Okay. Oh yeah.
So we know it's Angel.
Okay. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. It's Angel. Yeah. He's famous. I forgot. Sometimes
he's like famous.
He's like famous. I think of it being like he was like, Usher when he was in his 8701 era before Confessions came out.
Okay.
Where he became like huge. but he was like still really popular. That's where Angel is right now.
Okay, so is in terms I understand, it's Lewis Hamilton before Drive to Survive.
Is he the race car guy?
Yeah.
Like the really cute race car guy?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
I'm
who-
gonna
yeah.
send you pictures. Now you're in for it. We're gonna have to talk about Lewis Hamilton. I'm gonna convert you.
No, he's. I already think he's cute. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what her story is about. It's like
Mhm.
it's about the two of them.
Well, I was thinking of him because he is known for being super fashionable and he is dressed by Violet, so he's obviously very fashionable. So
Yeah.
and I'm always thinking about him, to be perfectly honest. But there we go. So we have a single mom, a widow, and Cal is described as somewhat morose.
She in the love lyric, she's a little bit older.
Okay.
And so she's involved in a lot of like extracurricular activities. And
Mhm.
so she is like a little bit, she's still like a very like a solemn kid, I would
Mhm.
say, but I feel like in the neighbor favorite and in the partner plot, she's like anxious. And
Yes.
she's less anxious in the love lyric
Okay.
because she does like karate, she does ballet. So it's like she's in like
Amazing.
she's one of those kids who's in a lot of stuff. And
Also, the
so-
dog lives, correct? Is that a
dog.
his dog?
Oh, Angel's dog.
Oh,
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I just need like the dog lives guarantee for all romances.
Yes. Of course. Of course.
And if he doesn't live now, I was gonna have to lobby you or your editor, both.
Yeah, of course.
And then since publishing is 1,000 years into the future, like I really want Caramel Kitty to get a book. Say that.
I love her too. I had an idea. So, gosh, guys, I'm sorry. So, I had an idea for Caramel Kitty. I love her. I don't know if I wanted to commit myself to writing an entire full-length novel about her, though.
Okay.
So, I kind of feel like I would write a short story or like something for like a newsletter
Okay.
about her, only because after writing the love lyric, I don't want to write about another famous person.
Yeah.
And she's like big. Like she's like to me,
She's Meg Thee Stallion.
that's who I was inspired by. Yeah.
Mhm.
I really wanted her to be like their version of Megan Thee Stallion. And that's just like a lot of I think it's fun to write about famous people because their lives are so different. But I also think that naturally I gravitate toward like exploring the mundane of
Mhm.
everyday people. And so after writing about a character like Angel, which was a lot of fun, I
Mm-hmm.
loved writing him. I want to go back to writing just like a regular
person.
a regular person.
So
yeah.
do you think you're gonna go back into the YA realm?
I do have
Okay.
another YA that's supposed I haven't read it yet. It's supposed to come out in 2025. The same year as the love lyric. But I'm definitely committed to continue to write romance.
Mhm.
That's kind of what I want to keep doing. In terms of YA, if the ideas come to me, I'll
Okay.
pursue them. I have more ideas in the adult space though.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think we're ready for questions. Do we have questions? Miss Nikki.
Hi.
My question is, this might be kind of a big one, but I think about this all the time. Outside of the age categories, right, and like some of the things that happen to the, to the character, like what do you think is the major difference between like a YA story and an adult story?
So
Yeah.
Nikki asked what outside of the age categories, what's the difference between what are the major differences between a YA story and an adult story?
The stakes are different, I would say. Like what at least in my books, my YA characters tend to be like on the cusp. Like they're approaching graduation or they're about to go to like this really life-changing audition or something like that. And it's like the world is their oyster and they're gearing themselves up for this big thing that is going this next big step in their lives. And in my adult books, it's like, okay, I've either gotten this dream or I didn't get it. This is where I'm at in my life right now. Now I'm reevaluating. And so, like, the way that they're approaching things is a little different. And also, like, they have bills, they have like full time careers, they have a lot more that they have, like, a lot more responsibilities. But also, adult characters have their teenage years with them. And so it's a lot more they have to parse through to build them. Like, okay, this character is this way because maybe this one thing happened to them when they were 14. And it's like, and then 10 years later, this is what caused them to act this way. Whereas, like, and when they're teenagers, it's a little bit less life to mine through. And so it's a little bit less emotional unpacking, at least in the way that I approach the characters. But definitely the stakes. I think that's the biggest thing. Yeah.
So she was referring to when Kristina said she tried to write the partner plot before the neighbor favor, and how that changed how the sisters' stories were going to go. Is that okay?
Yeah, so I knew Lily's story. It was always going to be about her and a neighbor and like the emailing. And I knew Iris's story was secret baby. I know. I love that trope. Sorry. I love it.
I know.
I love it.
It's so transgressive right now, especially with what everything that's happening in the world. To love it.
Yeah.
But I love it.
I love it. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I do. I love it. And
give me a Harlequin presents with a secret baby.
I would read that in like 2 hours.
Okay, we're gonna do
Like,
a drunk romance.
yes, I would love to.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna
But
do it.
so that was originally Iris's story, and then later I was like, oh, actually, I kind of want to write. She can already have the kid. The kid can be alive already. And so, but I knew that like she was gonna have a situation with someone who was a little bit younger than her, and I wanted him to be famous. And so, because I had their stories a little bit better fleshed out, I don't even know why I wanted to start with Violet now that I'm thinking about it. I just know that I did start there. And it was very different. She and Xavier were going to get married for money. It was like she was trying to come into his inheritance. And they weren't high school sweethearts or anything. It was very different. And I started writing it and it just was not coming together. And so I was like, I'm just going to start with Lily. And then it made sense to just go from youngest to oldest. Yeah.
Okay, so um what's the trope that we're dying to write? And what if we had all the money and time in the world, what would our next book be outside of romance?
Oh, do you have I don't know if I have a trope that I'm dying to write. And of course, it's gonna come to me later.
No, it's Secret Baby.
Yeah, it is. It's Secret Baby. It is Secret Baby.
It's Secret Baby.
It's Secret Baby, probably. Maybe I'll down the line. Yeah, I don't know. I might pop up with a pen name, and they're like, "Oh my God, that's Kristina Forest."
Right? Like really just filthy.
She did it eventually. Yeah. I don't know if I would write something outside of romance, but I would like to write a subgenre of romance. I really want to write sci-fi, like aliens, like aliens who look like humans, but they're aliens, because then like I feel like there's like a lot of things to explore there about like differences and like I don't know. I'm very fascinated by like if aliens exist. So I've always wanted to do like sci-fi. What about you?
I would definitely write like murder books. I would write thrillers. Just go on a tear, kill a bunch of people. I think that would be really fun. Not like I don't want to kill people for real, but like I just want to like name a bunch of guys after my ex-boyfriends and murder them on paper.
Yeah.
Right. Do you have any questions? Okay. Romance novels set in Las Vegas that we like. Well, I could suggest Not That Kind of Guy, which is my own.
Yeah.
The Partner Plot. And now I'm thinking, Kylie Scott, the first book in the Stage Dive series. It is a wake up married in Vegas, and it is. If you haven't read Kylie Scott yet, you must. She's a giant, and her books are delicious.
I am totally blanking on the one that I'm thinking of. It's written by a Black author. There's a Black Honey Girl.
Rebecca Weatherspoon? No.
No.
Yes.
Yes, I love that one. It's not a book, it's a movie. It's What Happens in Vegas.
I love that one. I love it. I love it.
That I think that movie really is
Oh,
inspired.
And if you haven't read the Christina Lauren series, like Sweet Filthy Boy
Yeah.
is the first one. That's also one of my faves that takes place in Vegas. So what horoscope sign would she give
Okay.
her two main characters?
So, oh gosh, they're both like Leos. They both have very strong look at me energy. Like I want to be the star of the show. Yeah. Yeah.
I never do that.
Are you a
No, I
Leo?
never do that.
Okay.
I'm a Sagittarius. Which
Okay,
it's
okay.
it's very, very close. Like it's very, Sagittarius and a Leo in a room. Do we have any questions online? Oh, my. What's something we both wish people knew about writing, I wish I knew more about writing romance, to be honest. Like I wish people knew like how like much like of romance is like literature, and people think people view romance as like real literature. And when I think of, just my friends in this genre and what they're doing to move cultural conversations forward, like, I've name dropped her again, Kennedy Ryan. I feel like she's doing so much. Nikki Payne sort of taking canon work and making it fresh and new and relevant. Um, I just think there's so many people doing such important work in this genre, and it's like it's literature, but it's the literature of hope. And so I think when anything is like hopeful and positive, I think people really like to, put it down or say, well, that's just for girls. And and anytime an art form really speaks to marginalized people, I think that happens. And so I wish people really, took romance seriously as literature. And like we have everything. We have like, airport books, and like those are great. We love them. But, I wish people put romance authors on the same sort of level as they put like John Grisham, at least.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I would just say there's a misconception that writing romance is easy, and it's not. It's incredibly hard. And it's incredibly hard to write something with the intention of being hopeful, because you have to be hopeful while you're doing it. But you're an adult, you're jaded just like everybody else. But you have to get in the mindset where you're like actively working to create this happily ever after. And being intentional about that it's like, it's a lot of weight. And we have the work of making the characters fall in love, but then making readers fall in love with characters and wanting them to be together. That's a lot of work.
It is.
And so I think that there's like a misconception that it's just like, oh, you just write, certain tropes and it all comes together, but it's really hard actually.
And now most of us are being asked to add dragons. So that's the vast majority of us are going to be adding dragons, just FYI.
Like an adaptation.
Would we consider making our books into movies? And yeah.
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 That would be, yeah. Yeah. I feel like everybody
Just ask me.
Yeah, right. That's how I feel. Please.
Literally anyone. Yeah, no. For sure. I actually, when I'm writing, I sort of envision what's happening like a movie. And so a lot of the time I end up having to like go back and adding like details from the scenes. But like, you know, I'm writing a first draft now and I'm just like, writing forward into the story because I'm like, I gotta get to the end. I gotta get these fools sorted out. So yeah. What inspired the sense of community in the book, especially as it related to Xavier and his involvement in the community and how warm it was? That's a great question, and I should have asked it myself.
I think that was probably inspired by because I used to live in New York and then I moved back home. And so I was living in my hometown, and their town, Willow Ridge, is sort of inspired by my hometown, which is like a historically Black town. It has a lot of history and a lot of people. We are like all very proud of it. And I was thinking about the sense of community that I felt when I moved back home. And I like small town. I like the camaraderie of small town. And sometimes it can feel a little bit stifling where it's like, this person knew me forever and I'm seeing them at ShopRite. That's kind of annoying. But then it's like, this person knew me forever and I'm seeing them at ShopRite. Like, that's nice. And so I guess I kind of wanted to explore that side of it. Like, it is a hometown. They are all in Violet and Xavier's business, but they also have a lot of support. And so I kind of wanted to write about people, a town of people who they're like busybodies, but there's just like a lot of love there. Yeah, I think.
It was one of the things I loved most about the book, to be, yeah, because I grew up in an all-white suburb of Minneapolis, so I was like, oh, this would have been nice. Question.
Oh, sorry.
So Kristina was saying, she remarked on Kristina's titles and how they're melodic, and asked about all albums or songs and music that inspires books.
So I don't have an album full through, but I do have playlists for each of the books that I write. And a song that really makes me think about this book and I listen to a lot is a song called If I Were a Bell by Tina Marie. Do you know that song? It's such a pretty song. And yeah, and so that one, I listen to a lot of SZA because she she has a lot of like I hate you energy for like, and I feel like that's what Violet had at the beginning of the book. Um, I'm trying to think if there were any like repeat artists. And I can't think of any from that playlist. But yeah, I have playlists for different songs. Like for the neighbor favor, You Don't Know My Name by Alicia Keys was a song that I listened to a lot. For the love lyric, I listened to Superstar by Usher a lot. Yeah, because I just feel like if there's a song that I feel like that really captures the whole vibe of the book, I will just listen to that over and over and over again. Or the soundtrack to Pride and Prejudice 2005 version, because it's just a score. And so I'll just listen to that. But yeah, the song. So
Where can we find these playlists?
I usually post them on my Instagram, like after a while. Like it's usually this, it's like in my head, it's my way to say goodbye, book. Now time to promote the next one. Like, cause usually in the summer, I'll like, oh, here's the summer playlist. And that's how you know it's time for me to start promoting the next book. It's like how I say goodbye, at least to that book on my feed. But for the neighbor favor for Island Kai, which is my third YA book, I have like playlists on there. And also when I finish a draft, usually it's all on my Instagram. Like I'll post it and then I'll be like, these are the songs that I was listening to. I don't know how to share Spotify playlists for people, which oh, okay. Yeah. But yeah. Yeah. Or like maybe I could put it in a newsletter or something like where people can see. But yeah, it's on my Instagram.
If there are,
Which is about.
if there was a piece of classic literature she could revamp, which would it be?
I was gonna say Jane Eyre. No, I'm right. Like, yeah, it would be Jane Eyre. Sorry. I know that people have feelings about Mr. Rochester. Is he great? No. I don't know why. I love Jane Eyre. I do. I don't know why.
I love it. I mean, one of the many reasons I'm famously single is because I really like Mr. Rochester. Terrible. I mean,
During the pandemic, I watched every version of Jane Eyre that exists. Or like during lockdown, I guess I should say. I just would watch them back to back and I never got tired of it. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, it was a time.
Yeah.
It was a time. So we have time? Okay.
Asked if there's any books that are coming out later this year that I've read or books that are coming out that I'm excited about reading. Books that are coming out. Okay, so one that I read is called The Kiss Countdown by Etta Easton. That is that's not white. That's a rom-com about a woman who is fake dating an astronaut shortly before he's taking a trip to space. And I don't know if anyone has read the Fly Me to the Moon series by Emma Barry and Genevieve
I know of it. I
Turner.
haven't read it a long
That's
time.
like a series about astronauts, and I loved that, and so I was really excited about the Kiss Countdown. So I read that. Also, When I Think of You by Maria Ariel is a book that I'm looking forward to reading. That comes out. They both come out in April. It's Pardon My Frenchie by Farah
Oh
Rashan.
yes, the cover
So cute.
so cute.
Yeah. Those are the ones that are coming to me. Oh, I'm also looking forward to reading The Rule Book by Sarah Adams. That is another book about a couple that used to date who go to Vegas and get married, which was really funny. We were like messaging, like, oh wait, we like kind of wrote the same book in the same year, which is it's really ironic. But yeah, that's
I mean,
coming
it
out in
always
April.
happens though.
Yeah.
Like things are in the zeitgeist. I'm really excited about Point of Pride by Chloe Angel. It's the second book in her ballet series. And I just blurbed So How Are You Really by Ella Dawson, and it's about it's another second chance romance, which I love, and it takes place at a 5-year reunion at an East Coast liberal arts college. So it's very good. All right. So one more? Anybody? So her male main characters have conflicted or strained relationships with their fathers, and what inspired that?
I don't even know if I've unpacked that, honestly, because you asked that and I was like, oh. Um, I think mostly what I'm thinking about is as adults, we either end up having a lot of qualities that are like our parents, or we see those qualities and we're like, we don't want that, you know? And so I guess that's something that I was trying to unpack with them. With Nick in The Neighbor Favor, I needed to give him a reason that was good enough to lie by omission. And I was like, well, what if there's something with his family? And with Xavier, I don't know where that came from now that I'm thinking about it. Sometimes I'm just writing and then like the story comes out and I'm like, okay. And just just kind of keep going. And I'm like, does Angel? Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to unpack that. That's a good question. Probably Joan.
Oh, same.
Definitely Joan.
It's gotta be Joan.
Yes.
I mean, she's a lawyer.
She's like very into her
mess.
job. Yeah. She's like reliable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, definitely Joan.
I love girlfriends.
No. Oh, wait, who do you think? Oh, thank you. You know what? I haven't watched Girlfriends in a long time. I feel like if I were to think who was like maybe the most stable and well-rounded, maybe Maya. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, probably Maya. Like she was like the naturally coolest one. I definitely don't think I'm like Lynn though. She was like very go with the flow. I'm not that like,
When
you
I'm
know.
being a big Sagittarius, I do remind myself of Lynn and then I have to stop.
Yeah, I would have to rewatch some of the episodes 'cause I really haven't seen it in a long
If
time.
you asked me which Golden Girl I was, I could tell you. It's Dorothy.
Yeah, see. I didn't really. I watched a lot of Sex in the City. I just restarted watching Sex in the City. And Carrie, that's how I feel about Carrie. She's a bad friend. Carrie
She's
is
a bad friend.
selfish. She's a bad friend. But yeah,
Yeah. Charlotte was like the best of them.
Charlotte is there's
Well, actually, Samantha's the best of them.
yes. Oh yeah. Do you watch? Now I feel like I'm gonna get on a tangent, but
Yeah, I think
sorry.
that they're gonna kick us off. But no, I think Samantha and Charlotte should have just been friends and left Miranda and Carrie to their own devices. That is my
Miranda, yeah. Yeah.
okay. I think they're going to bring out a giant hook if we don't stop talking.
So yeah, thank you guys again for coming tonight and joining us. And thank you so much to Kristina and Andie for such an awesome conversation. We're gonna take like 10 minutes to flip the space for the signing line. So the line's gonna start at the corner where it says games right there. Um, and then it's gonna kind of wrap through our kids section. But if you'd like to purchase a copy of the partner plot, you can do so upstairs before joining the signing line. And if you are willing and able to fold your chair and set it to the side so that we can collect them, we would greatly appreciate it. Thanks for coming.